He was the star of the hit 90s sitcom Horseman Around. Now he mostly drinks alone, spirals through personal crises, and leaves emotional destruction wherever he goes.
Everything's about me. And maybe I am a little jealous. Not because sometimes I feel like I was born with a leak. And then it just slowly spilled out of me, and now it's all gone. And I'll never get it back.
BoJack Horseman isn't just a washed-up celebrity. He's a walking mental health disaster with a Hollywood sign in the background. But how mentally unstable is he really? Let's start with the most obvious thing about BoJack, the depression.
And I want to be that person that they think I am, but I'm not. They see a greatness in me, but I know there's nothing there. As fast as
It's not hidden. It's not subtle. It's not something that's revealed later.
I want to feel good about myself.
It's baked into who he is.
You do. And I don't know how. I don't know if...
He doesn't just have depression, he functions through it.
Look around and you're gonna realize that everybody loves you, but nobody likes you.
Barely. We're talking about a character who's exhausted, numb, self-loathing, and constantly chasing the idea that maybe success or love or just being better will fix him.
But no matter how many starts I get, there's always the same ending. Everything falls apart.
I don't hate myself. I like being around you. And I don't know if
And then when it doesn't, he gives up. Again and again and again.
I'm tired of trying to figure
anybody thinks anymore.
Clinically speaking, BoJack shows all the signs of major depressive disorder.
Oscar campaign, but now that it's over,
No, BoJack, just stop. You are all the things that are...
The long-term, heavy-duty kind. Persistent sadness, loss of interest in life, feelings of worthlessness.
I know I screwed up. I don't know
great.
why.
Of course. Here it comes. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that.
Insomnia, fatigue, emotional detachment, recurrent thoughts of death, even if not always active suicide planning. And let's be honest.
Person, I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good. Diane, tell me.
BoJack doesn't want to die. He just doesn't really want to be alive either. He sleeps all day, drinks all night, and sometimes stares out over the balcony just long enough to make us wonder if he'll jump. He doesn't. Not because he's hopeful, because he's too tired to care. Now, depression in fiction is often romanticized, shown as poetic sadness or brooding silence. But BoJack isn't elegant. He's messy, he's angry, he's lazy, spiteful, impulsive, and every bit as miserable as he looks. He hurts other people because he's hurting himself.
I sleep a lot better at night if you just admitted to yourself that you're a selfish coward who takes whatever he wants and doesn't give a shit about who he hurts.
He makes progress, then backslides, and every time he gets close to real happiness, he panics. Because what if he doesn't deserve it? One of the most honest things he ever says is, "I don't know how to be happy."
I don't know if I can.
Because this is the moment you realize something inside you is broken.
And the worst part? He's right. BoJack doesn't know how to live without being miserable. Because misery is familiar. It's safe. It's predictable. And in his mind, he deserves it.
Not a therapist. I'm a therapy horse. A subtle but legally important distinction.
That's not quirky. That's not just dark humor. That's a man with unprocessed trauma, untreated mental illness, and no healthy coping tools.
Everything's about me. And maybe I am a little jealous. Not because sometimes I feel like I was born with a leak. And then it just slowly spilled out of me, and now it's all gone. And I'll never get it back.
But we'll get to those in a moment. So yes, BoJack is mentally unstable. And it starts here. A deeply embedded chronic depressive spiral that shaped his identity more than fame ever did.
I think they recognize something in me. And I want to be that person that they think I am, but I'm not. They see a greatness in me, but I know there's nothing there. As fast as
If watching a depressed horse spiral into existential doom is your kind of content, you should probably subscribe. It won't fix your life, but it might make your algorithm slightly sadder.
I want to feel good about myself. The way you do. and I don't know.
So we've established that BoJack is clinically depressed, but let's be honest, he's also usually drunk.
Are you drunk?
Todd, I weigh over 1,200 pounds. It takes a lot of beer to get me drunk.
BoJack doesn't just have unhealthy coping mechanisms. His entire routine is built around them. Wake up, drink, sabotage something, feel guilty, drink again.
Oh shit, you gotta drive. Sober up, buddy. Here we go. Sober. Now. Be less drunk. Now. Okay.
Maybe throw in some pills or a blackout for variety.
Oh, I don't deserve bread. She's not grubby, she's just...
Rinse, repeat, ruin a life or two along the way. This is more than just Hollywood partying. It's classic addiction psychology. BoJack displays multiple signs of alcohol use disorder, including drinking in dangerous situations, failure to fulfill obligations, ongoing use despite harm, blackouts, increased tolerance, inability to cut back, use as emotional escape, and the show doesn't shy away from this.
Blick, didn't think I'd have...
It literally sends him to rehab twice. But like most things BoJack touches, even rehab becomes part of the cycle.
Rehab was supposed to be a fresh start, but no matter how many starts I get, there's always the same ending. Everything falls apart.
He gets clean, he relapses, he apologizes, then he sabotages it all again because progress feels like a lie he's not ready to believe. But here's the really tricky part. BoJack is also self-aware.
I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic.
You're a real stupid piece of shit. But I know I'm a piece of shit better than all the pieces of shit who don't know they're pieces of shit. Or is it worse?
He knows he's broken. He can explain his issues. He can even quote therapists back at themselves.
Horses. So my horse body is a prison that I can never escape. This manifests as I subconsciously believe I deserve to be punished, but being famous.
And that makes it harder because viewers start thinking, well, at least he gets it. But insight isn't the same as growth. BoJack weaponizes his awareness to avoid change. He says the right things so people won't expect better from him.
Oscar campaign, but now that it's over, I
No, BoJack, just stop. You are all the things that are...
He plays the tragic card just long enough to reset the board, but never long enough to stop playing the game.
I know I screwed up. I don't know why.
Oh, great. Of course. Here it comes. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself. Like, that makes it okay.
This is where we get into narcissistic traits. Not the flashy, loud kind, but the subtle, self-pitying variety.
Person. I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and self-destructive, but underneath, I'm a good person, and I need you to tell me that I'm good.
Psychologists call it covert narcissism, when someone presents as vulnerable, broken, and full of shame, but deep down still believes the world revolves around their pain. BoJack constantly centers himself in every situation.
One who has to live with this shit. I'm the one who has to feel the guilt all day, every day.
You're the victim here.
Yeah, and I know that's not the woke, progressive...
Someone else is hurt, he'll make it about his trauma.
Because of the actions of BoJack Horseman.
You've suffered.
Yeah, I have.
The most?
The most.
More than, say, Sarah Lynn?
Don't talk to me about...
Someone calls him out, he collapses into guilt, but only long enough to shift the attention.
Occurred in my life that I can barely even remember because I was high or drunk or it was 30.
Don't feel bad about any of this stuff.
Yeah, of course I do. I've spent so much time.
That's not empathy, that's emotional theater.
I met you, I was depressed because I didn't like myself. And when you wrote that book...
Gotten out of this friendship is the idea that you should be okay with yourself as you are, then I don't think this is...
Now to be clear, BoJack is not a full-blown narcissist, but he shows strong traits. Emotional manipulation, victim mindset, craving validation, blaming others, then himself, then others again, apologizing as a tool, not a transformation. He's not just an addict. He's addicted to being understood, but not necessarily to being better.
A jillion copies. You taught me that as screwed up as I am, that's okay.
And that, psychologically, is even harder to treat, because BoJack doesn't want to change. He wants to be forgiven without the work.
It's true. And I don't think you believe it's true. I think you that you can be better. And even though you are being a total asshole right now, but if all you've gotten out of this friendship is the idea that you should be okay with yourself as you are, then...
BoJack Horseman wasn't born broken. He was raised that way.
Oh, I know. What if for 18 years straight, I just tell it how worthless it is every day, how it embarrasses me, how my life would be better?
From the outside, he had everything. money, fame, his face on cereal boxes. But what he didn't have was something far more essential: a safe childhood. His mother, Beatrice, was emotionally abusive and chronically cold.
Stranger behind the counter gave me that free churro. That small act of kindness showed more compassion her entire goddamn life. Like, how hard is it to do something nice for a person? This woman at the Jack in the Box didn't...
What you feel? You've got an audience out there, and they want to hear you sing. Now you go out there and you do the only thing you're good for, which is singing the goddamn...
His father, Butterscotch, was distant, angry, and convinced BoJack would never be good enough.
Rip off welfare. Why don't you do something productive, like bang your head against the wall until your brain isn't so stupid? You and the black hole that birthed you conspire to ruin it for me. What am I supposed to do now? Just go...
Now?
You go around the horn the way God intended!
Together, they gave him a head start in emotional damage, long before Hollywood ever got involved. BoJack didn't just grow up unloved. He grew up believing that love was always conditional, something you earned by being useful, impressive, or quiet. That kind of trauma doesn't go away. It evolves.
You want to know about my parents? They drank. A lot. My mother was the heiress to the Sugarman Sugar Cubes fortune, and my dad resented her for it.
It becomes the voice in your head that tells you you're not worth saving.
You screw up. You're making your daughter hate you, which is good because...
It fuels the guilt, the shame, the self-sabotage.
It's true. And I don't think you believe it's true. I think you that you can be better. And even though you are being a total asshole right now, but if all you've gotten out of this friendship is the idea that you should be okay with your...
And it's what drives BoJack to keep repeating the same cycle. Get close, ruin it, apologize, repeat.
Because of the actions of BoJack Horseman.
You've suffered.
Yeah, I have.
The most?
The most.
More than, say, Sarah Lynn?
Don't talk to me about Sarah.
In clinical terms, BoJack displays strong signs of attachment trauma and symptoms linked to complex PTSD, including
occurred in my life that I can barely even remember because I was high or drunk or it was 30.
Don't feel bad about any of this stuff.
Yeah, of course I do. I've spent so much time feeling bad. By the way, most of these women...
Chronic emotional dysregulation, fear of intimacy, repeated reenactment of painful relationships, persistent guilt and self-hatred.
I was depressed because I didn't like myself. And when you wrote that book...
Gotten out of this friendship is the idea that you should be okay with yourself as you are, then I don't think this is...
He wants to be loved, deeply, but the moment someone starts loving him, he pushes them away.
You screw up. You're making your daughter hate you, which is good because of you. Look at Penny and Herb and Sarah Lynn.
Because he's convinced they'll eventually see the real him.
This is my last chance to make people love me again. If this goes out, everybody's gonna see I spend a lot of time with the real me, and believe me, no...
And leave. And the irony? They usually do. Not because of who he is, but because of what he does to prove he's unworthy. We've seen this with Diane, with Todd, with Hollyhock.
Hollyhock, I'm sorry I didn't take better care of you. For a living in a house in Beverly Hills that your husband bought, or you can think you're better than everyone, but you were right. I don't love you. You don't love me. We're just two lonely people trying to hate ourselves.
He tests them, hurts them, and then acts surprised when they finally walk. This is the real tragedy of BoJack Horseman. He's aware of the damage, but he still causes it. Not because he doesn't care, because he believes deep down it's all he knows how to do.
Either you end up hurting someone or they hurt you, so...
BoJack Horseman presents with major depressive disorder, severe, long-term, alcohol, use disorder, chronic, with repeated relapse.
Horses. So my horse body is a prison that I can never escape. This manifests as I subconsciously believe I deserve to be punished, but being famous, I'm never
Oscar campaign. But now that it's over, I
know.
Narcissistic traits masked by self-loathing. Attachment trauma stemming from childhood abuse. Signs consistent with complex PTSD.
BoJack, just stop. You are all the things that are...
I know I screwed up. I don't know why.
Oh, great. Of course. Here it comes. You can't keep doing...
He is self-aware, but emotionally paralyzed. Capable of love, but afraid of receiving it. Desperate for change, but convinced he doesn't deserve it.
Can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself like that makes it okay.
I know that I can be selfish and narcissistic and
In short, BoJack doesn't need redemption. He needs help, not from the people he keeps disappointing, but from himself. And the scary part, he might never give it. If that didn't ruin your day just a little, go ahead and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, who's next on the therapy couch?